What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Shane. This is Lawn and Light, all about Christmas lights at the moment. At some point, we'll talk about other general lighting. But for right now, we're stuck on Christmas lights because we're rolling into the season and you've decided, maybe I'm going to do this thing, or I'm in. Let's go. I want to talk about why Christmas lights. So maybe this is for the guy that's on the fence. Why Christmas lights? I'm not going to try to talk you into doing it. I want you to talk yourself into doing it if you want to. But let's go through why it's a really cool business. I had a business partner. We started a lighting business in 2013, I believe. It's been a long time ago. It's hard for me to remember. I've since sold that business. 2013, business partner comes to me, or we were working on some lawn and landscape stuff together. We weren't necessarily business partners at that point, but we had a really good relationship. And he's like, man, we got to start a Christmas light business. And I'll tell you something. I said no. And I might have said a cuss word in front of it because 3 years prior to that, I had tried to do a couple Christmas light jobs for a couple of my lawn care customers, and they just were brutal. They were absolutely brutal. If you watched our first episode, I talked about there was no information about how to do this thing. So everybody just went to Walmart or Lowe's and got lights and tried to put those up, and they were all incandescent, and it was just awful. It was absolutely awful. So I told them no. There was a moment even that I put Christmas lights on my own house, and I was trying to get them to line up on the ridges, and I'm a very symmetrical guy. I like symmetry, and I couldn't get the symmetry that I was looking for. I was stapling those suckers to my house, which is a giant no-no. That's a no-no. Don't do that. I ended up, after about the third time that they tripped, when I plugged them in, I very angrily ripped them all off my roof. And I was so mad, and I said, I'll never do it again. So I told him that story, and he was like, come on, man. He's like, there's got to be a better way. And I was like, I don't know, man. So how are we going to find it out? So we found out by doing. And through the years, we built a why. And I can walk you through what's awesome about this. And I can walk you through some of the things that are not awesome about it. First of all, if you're talking about running a service business, there's a couple things that come to mind to me that really make people happy. I ran a lawn care business for over 20 years, and it was hard to make people happy cutting grass. You miss a spot in the yard, you go down in a divot and you scalp part of their yard, you forget to pull some weeds in the flower beds, or you just miss them. And this job that you're making 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks for, however much it is, maybe 200, you might get chewed out by a customer. And that's not fun. And we all want to do a great job for our customers, and we want them to feel good about the work that we're doing for them. But there's times that I've gotten cussed out, like literally cussed out over the phone. I'm going to come whoop you. And I'm like, bro, no, we ain't going there. Over a yard. It was a $50 yard. And I hung up that phone fuming, so mad over this overly irate person that was threatening me, thinking, I'm not doing this anymore. With Christmas lights, it's a different story. I mentioned a couple businesses that make people feel really good. If your AC has gone out in your home, it's August in Texas, and you call that your AC guy and he shows up and fixes your AC, you are going to love him. If he shows up that day, if he's like, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes, man, I hate that. I want to fix it for you. I want to cool your house down. Plumber, if none of your tubs are draining, or there's no water coming out of your sink, or a line's busted outside and you don't have running water, or your water heater goes out, and this guy shows up promptly and fixes this stuff for you, you're going to love him. I put Christmas lights in that category. Christmas lights make people happy. There's a nostalgia about them that When you install a lighting job, this is a really cool feeling when you install a lighting job and they walk out to see it. They just built their house. It's the first time that they had Christmas lights on their house. They've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they holler at them from inside the house, wait till the job's done. You're working late and because you've been working your butt off all day, and you finish this job at 8 o'clock at night. This happens. And mom and dad are home. They call the kids outside, and they walk out to about 100 to 150 feet in front of their property and look at the lights on their new home for the first time, for their first Christmas in their new home. And you just see the kids light up. You see mom and dad light up. It's a pretty magical moment. And when you get to witness those things, it's a why. That's part of the why. That's part of why we do this, because it's enjoyable to be in a business that you can charge, and I'm comparing this to lawn care, that you can charge a higher rate for because it's a specialized thing and they're super happy about it. I just charged you $1,000 to do Christmas lights and you love me. That was one of the biggest things that I had to get over. Was one of our first year in business, me and my business partner did 7 jobs. 7, that was it. 7. We're just getting our feet wet. We're calling some of our existing lawn care customers, and we're just going to shoot our shot here, try to figure this thing out. It was our 6th or 7th job that we got that year, and I turned in a bid. This is back in 2013. I turned in a bid to this lady, sweet lady, and it was $750. There was actually 3 options. There was like a $450 option, $750, or $1,100. And she called me back, I think within 10 hours of the time that I sent the bid to her, and said, I want to do option B. And I was like, when I turned that bid into her, I thought, there's no way that she's going to do this. We did that job. They loved it. And it just surprised me that somebody would pay, at that time, $750 for Christmas lights. But she was happy. It's a lot easier to keep people happy if you have the margin to do it. And when I say margin, I mean mindset, your mind, the margin in here, and the margin on paper. If you're making profit, good profit, and people are happy, you have a lot of margin on both sides of that. It's a lot easier to be excited about a business and the potential of working 12-hour days for 14 days in a row if there's some gratification. Now, we don't need to live based on gratification. The paycheck's enough if somebody never tells you thank you, and it's our job to do what we say we're going to do, when we say we're going to do it, and how we say we're going to do it to meet the client's expectations. That's what they're paying you for. And a thank you is not expected. Do not expect a thank you. We should never expect a thank you if somebody's paying us. I can get on a soapbox there. But to be able to make it, support your family, to have something that you love to do, that can be a big why for you. Can also be a big why just to help you out. I don't know if you're working an 8 to 5 job that you hate. Maybe you're working an 8 to 5 job that you love and you just need to make a little bit extra money. And so that'll go a long way with your family and trying to get through the season. It's a great way to do that. Find your why. The customer reaction is not necessarily going to be your why, but find your why and stick with that and remember your why as you're away from your family, as you're working those 12 or 14-hour days, if you're in Texas, as you're super hot. You're going to be installing lights when it's super hot. It's good to go back to your why. And that might be, for you, it might be your family, it might be showing the love of Jesus to other people through a Christmas light business. Whatever it is, stick to it. Okay. Find your why. Remember, love God, love others, and let your work reflect that. We'll catch you on the next one.